Hello, welcome to Music Theory, Grade 2, Week 2. This is brought to you by To Enable. This week we will take a look at note values and rest. Note values covering dots and double dots, also signs. Let's begin. Note values and rest. From the 5 note values that we introduced, the semi-brief, minim, crotchet, quiver, and semi-quiver, we are going to add a brief. This is a double hold. And also take a look at demi-semiquavers and hemi-demi-semiquavers. This is how a brief looks like. So it's the oval shape. Oval shape. You can put 2 lines on the sides, or you can draw it like this. Brief, double hole. The brief rest takes up the whole entire space. A brief is twice as long as a semi-brief. Then a semi-brief, the oval shape, remember, also a whole note. The rest is half a space facing down, twice as long as a minim. Then we have a minim, which is half of a semi-brief. The rest is similar to that of a semi-brief, except that it's facing upwards. A minim is twice as long as a crotchet. A crotchet is half of a minim, also known as a quarter note. This is how a crotchet rest looks like. A crotchet is twice as long as a quiver. A quiver is half of a crotchet, also known as the eighth note. This is how the eighth note rest looks like. Starts with a bit of a flag or line, then a straight line going down. A quiver is twice as long as a semi-quiver. And then we have a semi-quiver, which is half of a quiver. Now it has 2 flags or 2 lines, then one straight line going down, similar to the quiver rest. This is twice as long as a demi-semi-quiver. Then we have a demi-semi-quiver, which is also known as a 30-second. A demi-semi-quiver is half of a semi-quiver. We add another line. Now it has 3 lines or 3 flags. A demi-semi-quiver is twice as long as a hemi-demi-semi-quiver. Hemi-demi-semi-quiver is half of a demi-semi-quiver, which is a 64th relative length. This has 4 lines, 2, 3, 4, and one straight line going down, lines or flags. 2 hemi-demi-semi-quavers make 1 demi-semi-quiver. Moving on to dots and double dots. Double dotted notes. We have learned about dotted notes and that a dot increases a note by half of its value. In this chapter, we are going to introduce double dotted notes. If the first dot increases a note by half of its value, the second dot will increase the first dot by what? By half of its value. Let's take a look. This is a dotted crochet. The dot here increases the note by half of its value. This is a double dotted crochet. Now we have 2 dots. The first dot increases the note. The second dot increases the first dot. So this means double dotted note means increases the first note by half of its value. The first dot, not the first note, the first dot by half of its value. Then this is how it's actually calculated. Now we have a crochet which is equivalent to 1 beat. Our crochet equivalent to 1 beat plus the dot here, which gives us a half of this. then this is 1.5, plus the second dot, which is half of the first dot. Half of a half is a quarter, giving us 3/4 now. Therefore, a double dotted crochet equals to 1 beat and 3/4. Let us look at the practical example for double dotted notes. This is a double dotted crochet. This is how it looks like. It's a crochet added with a quiver. So this dot represents a quiver. Crochet plus the first dot, which is a quiver. The second dot, which is half of the first dot, would be a semi-quiver. Double dotted notes and rest are not so popular in modern music. Very rare to come across. Double dotted rests are not so popular also, so we prefer writing the rest out in full instead of putting dots and double dots next to them. And also remember, a semi-brief rest can never be dotted. Important signs to memorize. Ties. We also use ties to extend notes beyond a bar line. Remember, a dot cannot extend notes beyond a bar line. Therefore, we use ties. One can ask, how do we tie notes with accidentals? Let's take a look at the example below. This is a 3/4. We have two sharps. Now, the second sharp is actually a C sharp. So this is in the key of D. So now, to cancel this sharp, a natural sign was used and placed before the note. How does this work out? We place the accidental on the first note for the duration of the tied note. A natural sign is placed on the C. This is the natural sign placed on the C to cancel the C sharp. Cancel this sharp. So the C natural symbol is placed on the first note only, but it lasts for the duration of the tied note. So this natural note is going to last for the two notes. It's going to last for this note and that note, since they are tied together. So when you play this natural, automatically this note becomes a natural because of the tied that's used. Another C appears on the last beat of the second bar. A natural sign is used again, since the note is not covered by the tie. So this note is outside the tied note, so we are supposed to add another natural sign to it. Otherwise, the C sharp here is still applicable. So we cancel it again by adding a natural sign before the notes. Now another sign or term to look at is the pause term, also known as fermata. It is a musical symbol used for sustaining a note or a chord. So this is a pause. We use it to sustain notes or chords. This means hold the note longer than its duration. The function is to hold the note longer than its duration. Let us take a look at the examples below. The duration is normally determined by the tempo of a song. In a slow tempo, it lasts longer as compared to a fast tempo. The conductor or music director of the band should be the one who decides how long the fermata should last for. These are the fermata signs. Pause or fermata. Pause symbol. This is how it looks. Curving with a dot. The pause symbol on the note. It's always placed above the staff, directly on the note. Pause symbol on the rest. This is a short musical piece. Then the last beat of the first bar is paused, as you can see here. Pause sign. Note that the fermata sign should be placed above the staff, not below, and it should always be directly on top of a note or chord, even rest. Let's take a look at staccato. Staccato is another way of shortening notes. This means short and detached. Short and detached. So we are shortening notes. The value is always dependent on the type of notes to be played and also the tempo of a song. So the function of the staccato, it depends on the type of notes that are played and also on the speed of the song, which is tempo. A staccato on a crochet will be longer than a staccato of a quiver because of the difference in the note value. Let's take a look at mezzo staccato. This means half staccato. Mezzo means half. Half staccato. Notes must be short and detached, but not as detached as staccato. Short and detached, but not as detached as staccato notes. This is the mezzo staccato sign. So it's a small line above the note with a dot. Line with a dot. Mezzo staccato. A slur is mostly used if it is more than one mezzo staccato note. So this is a group of notes, group of staccato notes. So we use a slur to indicate that the following group of notes or the following phrase is actually short and detached or staccato. This is a slur to indicate that this group of notes should be short, should be played short, staccato. Staccato and dotted notes. They are both represented by dots, but the dots are different. They function differently. How so? A staccato dot is placed directly above the note, as we can see here. It's directly above the note. The dot of a dotted note is placed right next to the note, so it will be somewhere here. It will be somewhere just here. But they function differently. Next will be staccasimo. Staccasimo, this is an articulation. It means very short. It is known to be shorter than mezzo staccato. So staccasimo is this is articulation, means very short, shorter than mezzo staccato. Tenuto. It is the opposite of staccato, meaning holding a note for its full duration, not altering with the tempo of the song. This means notes can be softly emphasized as well. Each symbol is like a small dash horizontal line above the notes. Above the notes or below the notes, depending which side the note is facing. This is the symbol, horizontal line. Accents. We often, when we play music, come across this a lot where you are asked maybe to accent a particular chord or a particular note or a particular phrase if you are singing. So you might want to put some emphasis on certain notes and chords. This process is called accenting. An accent may also mean strengthening of notes. The accent symbol is positioned above or below notes. Let's see examples below. There we go, accent symbol above, this is below the notes. Now let's move along to triplets. Triplets. This is how a triplet sign looks like, just above the notes, with a 3 representing triplets. A triplet is a division of one note into three equal parts. Hence, we put a 3 here because it divides into three equal parts. The crochet note can be divided into three groups. See examples below. This is a crochet divided into two groups, would be two quavers. This will be 1 N. Or into three groups, now making it a triplet, would be 1 E N or 1 N R, depending which formula you use, or you can just say triplet. So this is a crochet 1 N, 1 E N, or 1 E R. A crochet, according to its value, can also be divided in three quavers. That means triplets in this case are played in the time of 2, even if it is actually 3 notes. How do we count triplets? This is a 4/4 time signature. That means 4 crochet beads in a bar. This is beat 1, the crochet. Beat 2 is divided into 3 equal notes, which is a triplet. So it's 1 triplet. Then beat 3 is a crochet. Beat 4 is a triplet. Then on the next bar, the first beat, it's 2 quavers. That's 1 and 2. Beat 2 is a crochet. Beat 3 is a triplet. Beat 4, a quiver. Triplets on beat 1, triplet, triplet, triplet. Then on 4 is a crochet. So, or you can go 1 and 2 and 3 and then 4, or triplet, whichever way it's easier for you to understand. On the first bar of a 4/4 time signature, we have 4 crochet beads, which some of them have been divided into triplet beads. Bead 2 and bead 3 of the first bar are triplet beads, but they are still equals to a value of a crochet bead. Let's go back. So this is bead 2, which is a triplet, and this, but they are still equals to the value of a crochet. Hence, it occupies the whole of bead 2. Then this takes up the whole of bead 3, because they're divided equally into 3 parts, triplets. The last bar of the above example is also 4/4, which with crochet beads subdivided into triplets on beat 1 and 2 and 3. More on triplets will be discussed in grade 3. Let's take a look at the last bar. This is the last bar. The first 3 beats are triplets, but they triplet, remember, if it's divided like this, it equals to 1 beat. This is our beat 2, this is our beat 3. So triplet, 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 then getting our beat 4. Let's take a look at triplets in time. For a semi-brief, we use triplets, but in minims. Then for a minim, crochet triplets, or then for a crochet, obviously, it will be quiver triplets. For a quiver, it will be semi-quiver triplets. For a semi-quiver, would be semi-demi-quiver or demi-quiver triplets. Yes, demi-quiver triplets. Then another sign to look at is portato. It is an Italian word in music to indicate carried. Portato means carried or moderately detached. This means the expression is somewhat between legato and staccato. Remember, legato is smoothly, staccato is short and detached. So portato, it's between the two.